What is up, YouTube? Team Deception here with a kind of a card review. As you can see, I have a whole bunch of cards out here. It's kind of for the discussion. I am going to try and move it fast though, because yeah, these three are all kind of the more important part of this discussion. So I kind of want to keep them off to the side. The card we're going to be discussing is Machine Duplication. This card has it's become really interesting to me, at least now with the release of Exceeds. There are a lot of very potential and ways to abuse the crap out of this now that we have Exceeds. There are a few Exceed monsters that people think are really hard to summon, and it's actually not that hard to do. At least not with Duplication. So, part of the reason why I like it is a few decks can actually abuse things, and that's why I have all these cards out. First I want to kind of cover is Card Trooper. Back in the day when we had Troop Dupe Scoop, I mean, it was obviously broken, but it is technically at 2, so you can at least bring out one more of this, which means it's a 1-for-1, and you can mill 6 cards off of it. Also, when they're destroyed, you can destroy them, you can draw a card. But there is also the fact that they're both level 3s, because you'd have 2 of the same card, so you can overlay them for a rank 3. It's just something that I think is really interesting. Lightsworns tend to love the milling. It gives them a lot of extra mill. You could probably use things in there. Trying to think of other machines you might be able to use. Cyber Valley could be one. I don't really know if people would really do that, but it's just something that you guys should know already. But the thing is it's just very interesting because it can bring back your Necrogard node to put in defense mode, stuff like that. If you're using it in plants, you can use it to return a dandelion that you might have removed for bulb, or something like that. So I figured I would, Black Salvo. Now Black Salvo decks are kind of dead. It's whatever, but with Beret around, you can dupe. It's kind of the same thing with the Karakuri stuff. You dupe it, you synchro Beret and all that stuff. If you're using the Karakuri tuners as well, then you can just keep bringing out stuff to do shit, or well, non-tuners, sorry, because you already have your 3 tuners. But you get my point. You could just drop 3 Berets and stuff. The same goes for pretty much any level 3 tuner machine monster. So I'm going to kind of go over both of these at the same time since they're both of the same archetype. Remoten can result in mad pluses whenever you're doing machine duplication on it. The reason for that is if you have at least 3 Morphronics in your graveyard, you can remove each of them from play to add another Morphronic from your deck to your hand with the same level. That makes this thing give you a lot of pluses, since you're only playing 1 card to get 2 more from your deck, and then you're removing 3 cards in your graveyard to add 3 more cards from your deck to your hand. So it's pretty much a +4. Morphronic Self-On, this is also another potential plus. It's not as assured as Remoten is, because Remoten is assured to get cards from your deck to somewhere. But Self-On, you can summon it, try to use its effect. If you fail, you can go Machine Duplication. Even if you don't fail, you can still duplicate it. But the way I usually play it is I summon it, I try to use the effect, either if it gets Veilored, or if it goes through but doesn't summon anything, I can just play Machine Duplication and use the other 2's effects. Because when you play Duplication, you're going to be filling up 2 monster spots, and if you want to, make sure that you have a full field and don't accidentally reveal extra cards or whatever, then, But the other thing is with Galaxy Queen now, as well as Baby Tyragon, you now have rank 1 options, which this is a level 1, so you can do a rank 1 with that. And it's the synchro material. Cyber Valley, this is probably one of the more previously popular combos. In a way, I saw it as the second Troop Dupe Scoop. Not as effective, obviously, but I mean, it gave you a free draw 2 as well as a free monster to stall with, or if you had Mind Control, which back in the day was at 3, you could take their monster and move and draw 2 more again, which was just really good. But the thing is you can still use it as a XYZ material. You can do all kinds of happy shit with it. It's just really good. And like I said, with Machine Duplication, it's just even better. This is a new card from Photon Shockwave, Wind Up Bat. Now, obviously, right now, windups probably aren't going to be all that great. Whenever Order of Chaos comes out, which actually reminds me, I will be reviewing a couple of windup cards from Order of Chaos, probably later on in the week. But yeah, anyways, Windup Bat, it has a very unique ability, and it has a very similar use to that of Remoten. Basically what it does is, while it's on the field in attack mode, you can switch its battle mode and add any Windup from your graveyard that you want to your hand. It's a level 1 machine. It's got 300 attack, 350 defense. So you can machine dupe it, bring out 3, and switch all of them to add 3 from your graveyard, which is really, really good if you ask me. It gives you a massive amount of cards in your hand, even if they're mostly monsters. But the thing is, if you're running a way to actually put them onto the field or actually abuse the hand advantage, then it's really, really good. It's also a wind-up card, so you can trigger off your cards like Wind-Up Magician and Wind-Up Factory. It's just a really great card. So yeah, the last of the random stuff is Darksea Rescue. Also by association is Tuning Wear. Basically what this does is it either sets you up for a rank 1, or it can help you get a whole bunch of draws if you have tuner monsters. If you have a bulb or something, it's a free draw too because of the draw off this and Formula Synchron. It results in a lot of draws. It's also a dark with 0 defense, 0 attack. So I mean, if Crush Card ever came back, you have a Crush Card target, and you have a recurring Nightmare target. Not like anyone would ever use Recurring Nightmare with it, just pointing out the obvious. Another thing that Machine Duplication is useful for is bringing out 3 monsters to tribute off for special summons. The perfect example for this would be the Wickeds. I think the Avatar is a special summon, and so is... Actually, I don't think the Eraser is. I don't know. I haven't read those cards in a long time. Anyways, there's also Destiny Hero Plasma, who requires 3 tributes to special summon it from the hand, which just gives you those monsters. Even if you aren't running something that you want to tribute off, I mean, just imagine bringing out 3 Remotens or 3 Wind-Up Bats, using their effects to get mad monsters to your hand and shit, and tributing them all off for something like Plasma. Another monster that you could use is, like if you haven't already normal summoned for the turn, you could tribute all 3 for Barbaros and blow up all your opponent's back row and have a 3k beater, which is just really good. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the Karakuris were the more popular idea with Machine Duplication. Now, the reason for that is there's a lot of ways to abuse Machine Duplication, and with Exceeds, it's become more, what's the word, versatile, maybe. It's become more powerful, for sure. Let's see here. Hang on, you're going to have to bear with me. I have to search through the deck with one hand here. Anatomy. Let's start with that, because it's probably one of the few things that I have to really cover. Karakuri Anatomy is a spell card that acts kind of like, what's it called? Six Samurai United. When it has 2 counters, you can send it to the grave and draw 2 cards, or if it has 1 counter, you can send it and draw 1. Karakuri Strategist Model 248 Nishipachi has the ability to switch any monster's battle mode when it's normal or special summoned. Yeah, normal or special summoned. I wasn't sure if it was flipped or flip summoned or whatever. Anyways, so let's say you summon it, you switch it, now gets a counter. Now in my Karakuri deck, spoiler alert, I run 2 of these. Now even though I only use 2, I can play this and dupe him. Now, because I'm special summoning another one from the deck, it can switch its battle mode. So say I bring it out in attack and it goes to defense. This is not how it gets its second counter. I send it to the grave and draw 2. That's for 1 card. So it still kind of breaks even, but like cards like D-Draw and stuff, they all break even as well. I mean, you discard 1 and you use 1 to do so in order to draw 2 cards, so it breaks even. Let's see here. Another thing actually regarding Nishipachi is if you're actually running 3, you can machine dupe it, switch 3 battle modes on the field. It could be your opponent's or your own, and because it's kind of mandatory to switch battle modes anyways. But because it's a machine earth tuner, what you can do is you can tune all 3 of them for Gotems, because Gotems doesn't need non-tuner earths. So that's something else. Ninishi, her real purpose is basically just summoning again and synchroning whatever. But with machine duplication, she has a very large amount of options. Normally the one would be synchroning like crazy, and I don't really blame people for that. I mean, it's very, very popular, and if you can get it off without them stopping you in any form or way, you can pretty much win the duel, because you're going to be dropping probably 3 berets and possibly a Burrito. There's another thing that people actually don't realize whenever it comes to this. She is a rank 3. Now, like I said with Nishipashi, you can tune all 3 together to make Gotams, because it is a level 3 tuner monster, and it's also an Earth. But the other thing is, and I wish I still had it to kind of explain this, she's a level 3. Okay, now, I've already pointed this out like 3 times. The reason why this is good is because most people actually play 3 of her. Now, you machine duplicate it, you can use her effect, you can normal summon this or anything else that you want because you haven't used her effect yet, and then you can do whatever. And then what you can do is you can, like if you can go into Beret or something, you can bring out another level 3 or something, it doesn't really matter. But as long as you can keep the other 2 out and put out another level 3 somehow, you can go into number 34, Terabyte. Now, the reason why I say that this is very interesting is because Terabyte is a great card for just taking your opponent's monster and using the tuners that you can spam to the field like crazy with this deck to synchro with their monsters. And the thing is, you can tribute their monsters, you can synchro with their monsters, you can exceed with their monsters, you can do all kinds of stuff like that. And that's part of the reason why I'm thinking that Karakuris really need to actually start considering machine duplication, because if they can bring out number 34, I mean, it just seems really, really amazing. Now, that's pretty much all that's really going for Nishi regarding duplication. The last sorry, my tongue is kind of twisted. The last duplicable monster for Karakuris that anyone actually uses is Merchant. Merchant is a exactly 500 attack level 2 machine monster. Its main use here, like in testing with machine duplication in this deck, I've summoned him, searched out, done whatever, and then played duplication on him, which would give me 2 more. Okay, and what would happen is I would use 2 of them to go into a Beret and synchro, bring out another tuner or whatever. It could be him or another of her, even though I really wouldn't want to waste her. And I can go into Naturia Beast or something, or if I have instant fusion, I can use that. I can do all kinds of stuff. It's really an interesting thing. Another thing that you can do with Inashichi is, since it's a level 2, you can go into Gachi Guntetsu, which gives you another option in your deck, and you'll still have 1 more left over, meaning if you summon her, use her effect, summon him, search out, do whatever with whatever you search out, then duplicate him, you get 2 more of him, you overlay into Gachi, then you use these 2 to synchro into Naturia Beast, which gives you, what, a 2600 monster that can negate spells. I mean, how could you not like that? So, I mean, like I said, you guys should really consider this card for at least Karakuris. There are a lot of other decks that can really abuse this, and it makes a lot of Exceeds that may seem very hard to summon a hell of a lot easier to use. I don't know if there are any level 4s that have 500 or less attack, but if there are, that means it's easier to summon things like number 10, Illuminate, and what's that other one? That Violon de Sigma or whatever, which we don't have yet, but it's just another example. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of machine duplication. You know, I figured I would do this because it's actually very interesting of things that it can do, especially with Karakuris. If you guys want to know how it's been testing for me, let me know. I'll actually tell you about it. I put them in there because I'm missing Solemn Warnings right now, so... But I may actually keep the duplications in and replace something else with the warnings whenever I get them. So I think that's about everything. Let me know what you guys think about machine duplication down below. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Peace, you guys. Oh, one thing before I end this video, I will have my binder video up sometime, I think maybe Monday night, so that way it's up in time for Tuesday. And I don't know when I'll be doing the next card review, so if I know by the time I do the binder video, I will just tell you guys then. So, okay, that's about everything. Rate, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.